Question for you. So where are you going to be breaking free and or finding balance in your life right now and for the next 6 months with this eclipse happening on October 2nd? This is what we're going to talk about today. So not only am I going to review the important astrology behind this solar eclipse in Libra, the last one of this eclipse season, but also of this year. And I'm going to be doing a pick a card tarot reading for all of you. And that'll be at the end of the video after the astrology. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for being here. And if you've come back, thank you for coming back. I want to invite all of you to support this channel and to support me by liking, commenting, subscribing, and of course, sharing. So my name is Monique Renee, and I'm a life and leadership coach and trainer. I'm also an astrologer and a flow mentor for women and others who want to bring in more sacred living into their life, finding meaning, making space for what's truly important, and igniting their life with purpose and passion. So again, welcome. Let's go ahead and start talking about this eclipse and looking at the details of what it means for all of us. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the chart because I know many of you like to take a look at it. Okay, so here is the chart of the eclipse. Again, this is happening on October 2nd at 2:49 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, and for those of you who may not understand what an eclipse is, how it's associated with either a full moon or a new moon, I'm going to invite you to watch my video from a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the full moon. And I go into depth about the lunar nodes and the full moons and new moons and what it all means. And I'll make sure to put a link at the end of this video so you could just click on it and go ahead and watch it. Okay, but I'm pointing out on this chart right here, this is Libra in the chart, and you can see that the sun and the moon are together. They're literally right on top of each other at 10 degrees of Libra, okay? They are also very tightly aligned with Mercury. Mercury's at 11 degrees. And what this chart is not showing, but I also want to point it out, is that Black Moon Lilith is also conjunct all three of these planets, okay? And she plays a part in this eclipse and what it means for all of us, how we might be feeling, and most importantly, what we may have been going through for the last 18 months or so, okay? So here's the important thing about eclipses, whether they're partial or full eclipses, it doesn't really matter. They are karmic events in our life, okay? And so we don't just feel it on a certain day and then it goes away. These are things that are coming up for us, for our change, for us to take action on, to rid our lives of, so that we can walk more certainly on our path of growth and evolution. We're meant to do hard things in this life, and eclipses tend to bring up those difficult things for us, okay? And so when we're talking about Libra, the sign of Libra, we're talking about things that have to do with relationships, partnerships, marriages, contracts, fairness, equality, balance, justice. These are the things that Libra brings forth, okay? And again, depending upon where Libra is in your natal chart, you're going to understand the bigger picture of what it means for you. Okay, so I want to invite all of you to take a look at your natal chart and identify what house Libra is in, because that's going to give you more information about what aspect of your life this eclipse is working on, okay? And working on your behalf for you, okay? Because again, this is a karmic event. And so nothing that is happening is a whim. It's happening for us. It's happening for our betterment, for our growth, for our development, for our, again, our evolution in this lifetime. Okay. So whatever you've been going through, whatever has been whispering at you over the last 18 months, more or less, is probably what you are being asked to look at again and to actually close the door on. Okay. I mentioned in my last video that the nodes of fate and the eclipses have been in the signs of Libra and Aries, and this is the axis of relationship. So for many of us, we are working on our independence, okay? Separating ourselves from perhaps a partnership, a friend, a marriage, even a belief system that has to do with allowing us to step into our power more, into our independence, and to step away from codependency, okay? So the kinds of things that I want you to ask yourself is, where in my life am I ready to take my power back? This is Lilith talking, okay? The Black Lilith energy, okay, has to do with, you know, those situations in our life that ask us to do something that we really don't want to do, or do something because that's what women do, or that's what we should do. Okay. So with Lilith, Lilith wants us to look at our shadow, wants us to look at ourselves in the mirror and really identify where we need to take our power back, where we need to say enough is enough, right? And in my language, be fierce and make a decision, break free so that we can reclaim some of our sovereignty, some of our power, and not be that person that continues to wear a mask in life, in our relationships, in our careers, right? Wherever this is showing up in your life. Okay. So that is happening right here in Libra. I'm going to also talk about this beautiful aspect in the sky called a grand trine in the element of water, okay, the signs of water of Scorpio, of Cancer, and of Pisces, okay? And what we can learn through this eclipse and the emotions that we can tap into, okay, to further help us to close the window on this lesson. Again, this is the last eclipse in Libra for a very long time, but also the last eclipse of the year. So we want to close the door on this lesson. Again, it's something that we've been working on, something that we've been thinking about, and we're ready to move on. We're ready to move forward and, you know, elevate ourselves and elevate our life in a way where we're going to look back at the past and go, wow, look at what I did for myself. Look at what I learned. And I am no longer codependent. I am no longer giving away my power in this relationship, whatever relationship that is, or I am no longer dealing with a pattern of thought that has put me in the back seat. Okay. Libra wants to find balance. So ask yourself, where do you need to bring more balance into your life? And that may be one of the things that you've been dealing with. So I'm going to stop the share and talk to you a little bit more about what's happening in the sky at this time. So I mentioned that we've got this beautiful trine, okay? It's a beautiful triangle of energy that's here to support us, okay? And there's some uncomfortable energies with this because some of these planets are not, they don't really look forward to being in the signs that they are in. But nevertheless, all of this energy is for our good. It's energy that we can tap into to make this eclipse a little softer for us, a little bit easier, because eclipses bring about heavy energy. Again, many times we go into our shadow and we're feeling emotional. And even though this is a new moon, because it is aligned with the South Node, which is all about releasing, it's not the right time yet to set that new moon intention. What we want to do is go back into the shadow, understand where we've been feeling all of this tension, to release something, let go of something, break free of something, and come back into balance. And we want to understand that fully and close that cycle before we work with this new moon energy. Okay. So we've got Venus, the goddess of love. And also, to me, she's a creatrix. She is an entrepreneur. She is so aligned with her values and what's meaningful to her, what's important to her. And in the sign of Scorpio, she has a little bit of this Lilith type energy that I've been talking about. So she wants us to really sit with our truth, with our integrity. What's really important to me at this time in my life? And how am I going to stand in that truth, in that integrity during this eclipse to help me close that cycle? Okay. So pay attention to that energy for yourself. Tune into it because she's going to give you more wisdom that you can work with in this healing process of this eclipse. Then we have Mars, the male energy. Okay, so Venus is the goddess of love. Mars is the god of passion, of, moving forward, taking action. He is pure masculinity. Right? And we all have those aspects in ourselves and those energies within inside of us. He is in the uncomfortable sign of Cancer for him, okay, for that energy. He's not too comfortable in Cancer. But here's where it could really help us, right? Because Mars always wants to push forward, always wants to take action. But in Cancer, he's being asked to do it in a more compassionate way, in a nurturing way, and in a slower way. So sit back and ask yourself, where do I need to take action? Where do I want to move forward? But how can I do it in a way that is more easy, is not so powerful and in your face and maybe reactive, but a little kinder, a little more compassionate? And again, that's hard for Mars. Okay. But with Mercury right next to the sun and the moon in this eclipse, we want to take this Mars energy and this Venus energy, and we want to communicate our needs in a proactive way. Okay. And this is where these energies in the water signs can really allow us to tune into our emotions and communicate in a softer way. And that's the advice I'm giving you. And then we have Saturn, father time, the school principal, making sure that we're doing things the right way in the sign of Pisces. And to me, this really feels like, where can you be responsible for your higher ideals? Okay. For what you know in your heart is best for you. And you need to do the hard work. Okay. And sometimes that hard work is having that difficult conversation, closing that cycle, talking to yourself and saying, I'm not going to betray myself anymore. I'm going to do the thing that I haven't done. I'm going to do the right thing for myself, for my health, for my business, for my life, for my children. Again, where is this happening in your chart? Okay. And that's going to give you a clue. But this is all a part of the flavor of this new moon eclipse in Libra. And thinking about all of these things are going to help you to bring in that balance, to find that balance, that fairness, that equality, and take back a little bit of justice for yourself and for your life. And all of the wonderful steps that you have taken over the years to evolve, okay, and to move your life forward in a beautiful way, okay? We also have a couple of energies that I would say are a little more challenging, but they are a part of this eclipse learning. We've got Mars. Again, I spoke about Mars in Cancer is actually squaring the eclipse directly and bringing forth a little bit of that tension of, I need to take action. I need to do this thing. I need to let this person go. I need to let that job go. I need to, stand up for myself. But again, because Mars is in the sign of Cancer, he's, not feeling comfortable. So my advice is, again, think before you speak, think before you act, really tune in to what you want to do and how you want to do it, and that's going to feel a little bit better. Okay. And then we also have the beautiful energy of Jupiter squaring Saturn in the skies during this time. And Jupiter always wants to have fun. Jupiter always wants to just light up, life, bring us the goodness of life, bring us abundance, bring us luck. But squaring Saturn, it's going to be a little bit more difficult. It's almost like we feel the benefits of the aftermath of this eclipse coming to us, but we're not there just yet. Okay, so we have to sit with the shadow, get on the other side of this eclipse, do the work of bringing back that balance, and doing the difficult work that Saturn wants us to do to honor ourselves, honor our life. And then we're going to see the gifts of Jupiter. Okay, but we need to do a lot of reflecting. Jupiter actually begins to retrograde on this day of the eclipse. So we want to sit in reflection of what are we moving toward in our life, right? What do we want to call in as far as luck and abundance? And each of us using our voice and speaking our truth. We want to take the time to think about all of those things during this eclipse. Okay, so I think I discussed everything that I wanted to for the eclipse. For those of you who are extremely mystical and woo-woo like me, you may benefit from the message that was given to the author of this book, The Sabian Symbols, Diane Roche, and she channeled all of this beautiful energy regarding the degree and the sign, and when these big events happen on certain degrees and certain signs. So we are looking at 10 degrees of Libra. We actually rounded up to the 11th degree. And some of you may be feeling this energy, which is why I want to read it to you. Okay. So the symbol is a professor peering over his glasses. I'm actually a professor peering over. Here's what we need to know about this mystical symbol associated with this eclipse. Today, on October 2nd, the accent is on skill and knowledge. Expert advice may be sought to answer some perplexing questions. Okay, so you may be seeking mentorship. You may be seeking answers through this eclipse. Okay, or maybe someone is seeking you to help give them guidance and answers. Here's the opportunity. Your greatest advantage lies in sticking with what you like and what you are good at. Let others handle the rest. Okay. So there is an emphasis on specialization. For those of you who are entrepreneurs and you're doing way too much, there is an emphasis with this eclipse bringing into balance all that you're doing and really honing in on a specialization so that it can support you. Okay. So you're breaking free and you're bringing in balance with this eclipse. Okay. Here's the risk. Guard against the temptation to give advice on matters in which you have little experience or knowledge. In other words, set aside your ego, people. We don't know it all and we don't have to know it all. Try not to be a know-it-all or give the impression that you have all the answers. Don't make others feel small by belittling their lack of knowledge or criticizing them in front of others. And then here are the stepping stones for this energy: knowledge, wisdom, specialization, skill, proficiency, know-how, expertise, self-refinement, mastery, instruction, and responsibility. So I hope that some of you found that interesting, and perhaps there is an aha there for you with a theme that you are going through this eclipse. So I hope that that was helpful. And now I'm going to dive in to the pick a card reading. So right now, I just want you to take a deep breath. And in your mind's eye, I want you to think about whether number 1, number 2, or number 3 is your message for this eclipse, okay? I've already shuffled, but I'm going to give this one more shuffle. And I will pull cards. Okay, so the first message for those of you choosing card number 1, what is the guidance for you for this eclipse? Son of Earth. Okay, and I'm going to go over the meanings in just a minute. For those of you choosing card number 2, the big medicine wheel. Okay, this is the last card in the major arcana. This is a cycle closing. This is transformation. We'll get more into it. And the final card, message number 3 for this new moon eclipse, the Ring of Fire on October 2nd. Remember that the lessons and the closing of this cycle is not going to be immediate. It's going to happen over the next 6 months. So pay attention to that. Ooh, we've got a reversal. 9 of air, hurt. And it's in reverse, which I really, really love. All of these cards are really speaking to me of healing. And no coincidence that at the bottom of the deck, we have the shaman, okay, with the moon energy there. And, shamans are healers, okay? So there's a lot of healing in all of these cards. And all of us, in some way, shape, or form, are being called to sit back, reflect, use this beautiful water energy in the sky. And the idea of bringing balance into our life, into our minds, into our bodies, into our spirits, so we can find some healing, okay? Because we're all going through something that has been challenging. And that we are closing the cycle on. So for those of you who chose card number 1, you are going to be planting a new seed, okay, after this eclipse within the next 6 months. Pentacles, earth energy is about new ideas that we can root, plant in the earth and grow roots so that it can bring us abundance, prosperity, longevity into our lives. Okay, so for those of you who chose card number 1, there's a new cycle that is beginning for you. Okay, where you get to plant a new seed that is going to grow for you and be very abundant. Okay, but during this time, the advice is go slow. This is not something that happens overnight. This is something that happens over time, and the message is one step at a time. Okay, one step at a time. Take this idea, plant it, nurture it, water it, okay, and continue to build upon it. And as it continues to grow, you're called to not do it alone. Bring others in to support you, okay? But this is a great sign that you are indeed closing a cycle and starting something new that is going to take root and grow for you over time. Now, for those of you who chose card number 2, as I mentioned, big, 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 major cycle, karmic cycle, closing for you over the next 6 months. That's going to bring you transformation. Okay. And because of that, something new is starting, a brand new cycle. We're going from the wheel to the fool. Okay. The brand new fool's journey where you are taking a risk. You are going to be, leaving something behind and starting something new and moving forward with focus, with intensity, with victory. I feel like this cycle is going to be very transformative for you, and you may not even recognize who you are in a few years. Okay, so beautiful, beautiful energy of the world. Okay, this is the world card. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay, and then those of you who chose card number 3, wow, what you are closing here and releasing is a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of suffering that may have been at the hands of another, okay, as far as, nasty words, unhealthy communication, verbal abuse, you are leaving it behind. You also may be leaving behind the own verbal abuse you've given to yourself. Negative mindset. I'm not good enough. I'm not in the right place. I need to do more. Why is this happening to me? These are the kinds of messages that hurt us, right? When we say them to ourselves over and over again. Many of you are releasing those energies that have kept you awake at night, okay? Sleepless nights. You're beginning to shed them, okay? Again, this is not going to be overnight, but the message for you is, how can you let them go with this eclipse? How can you bring in more positive healing thoughts and self-talk to get you to this next evolution, okay, after this eclipse? So that is the homework for all of us. I hope that these messages were helpful. Again, I am going to put a link to the last video that I posted about our last lunar eclipse in Pisces just a few weeks ago. I go into more depth about the nodes, about the changing of the nodes that's going to be happening, and that already started with the Pisces lunar moon. An eclipse, and what you need to think about, how you can begin preparing for that. But for now, I wish you a lot of healing. I wish you beautiful energy of stepping into your power, of bringing your life back into balance in some way, shape, or form, and wishing you just many blessings, love, and light. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.